let's move this. Boy, can I make a mess. Now we are moving along to a raw apple raspberry pie. Let's get a pie crust, and let me just see. To make, I'm just trying to think what I've got here and how I'm doing this. To make the crust, alrighty, this Cuisinart I guess will do. Here's his blade. We will start with the pie, and I start with, see, it gets a little messy here after a while.
I have another question.
Yes?
Do you cook with beans, like black beans? Or?
I don't cook with beans only because I don't particularly personally like beans. And they are something that does have to be cooked. They're really tricky to eat raw, and which kind of works for me. But that's not to say that they're not good for you. Okay, what I'm doing here is I am putting in, I need 3/4, wait a minute, maybe I should measure this, 3/4 of a cup of dates. Let's just see about how many that will be. I take the seeds out. I'm making the pie crust. So it's about 7 or 8 dates, as I recall.
So what I found, Sunny, is that when I use dates and things, not only does it add the sweetness, but it's the glue that makes everything stick together.
Exactly. All right, that's about 3/4 of a cup of dates. And then 3 cups of walnuts that have been soaked. There they are. They're my walnuts. I soaked them. Now, the reason that you soak nuts, you soak all nuts before you eat them. Nuts come with things called enzyme inhibitors. And it's to protect them. You know how if they're like seeds, they can sit dormant for years and years, and then you put some water on them and they come to life. That's how we want to eat them. So all nuts you soak first before you use. And it depends on the kind of nut. Almonds are the hardest, and you really need to soak them for about 8 hours. Walnuts probably only about 4 hours. Cashews are a very soft nut. You don't need to soak them very long. So what I've put in here is, this recipe calls for 3/4 cup of dates and 3 cups of walnuts and a pinch of sea salt. So that's a pinch of sea salt. And now we are making the pie crust. Here's the top of this Cuisinart. Here we go. I can't live without this machine. Alrighty, here's how we make the pie crust. We take it, I save a little bit out because I'm going to do a crumble on top of the pie when it's all done. But so let me save out just a little bit and then take the rest of this. And all it was, if you saw, it's nothing but dates and walnuts. 3 cups of walnuts, 3/4 of a cup of dates. And I am going to create a pie crust. And we just mash it down, and it's wonderful. The dates make it congeal and stick together. Oh. This is a tiny, tiny, weeny little pie plate that was the only thing that was in the apartment we're renting. So hopefully it'll be big enough. And this is such a cool pie. I think you're going to like it. So I make a nice hard pie crust. I mean, when I say hard, press it all in nice and firm. And then I just want to get a good base for it. Okay, and then put a layer of raspberries because it's an apple raspberry pie. Take a box of fresh raspberries. Take 2 boxes of fresh raspberries. I want enough fresh raspberries to fill the bottom of the pie. One of the most frustrating things of doing this in Thailand is that raspberries are not indigenous to Thailand. And so I can get a little box of raspberries like this, but they cost about 20 bucks. It's the airfare. They're little, but they don't fly them over cheaper. So I'm just making a layer of raspberries on the bottom of this pie. And kind of pushing them down so they stay. This really is one of the smaller pie crusts I've ever seen. Pie plates. I usually use a much bigger one. Okay, and now we are going to, where am I? Apple, raspberry pie. Alrighty, I need my Cuisinart. Here's how we clean the Cuisinart. Okay. Apples, there we go, peeled and chopped. Dates, alrighty. Now I'm going to dice up, let's see. Sorry kids, I've got such a mess here I can hardly deal. Alrighty, spread the raspberries, mix the apples, dates, cinnamon, okay. 2 apples. I'm going to make sort of a sauce. This is fun. All these recipes I have made many times, but many of them not recently. And so I have to stop. And typically what I do is I make so many things at once that I can never remember what I did. And is that this one or that one? So I have to follow my recipes. And I'm giving you out at the end a whole stack, probably there's about 20 or 25, I don't know how many I sent over, recipes for different raw things. And they're really fun to try to incorporate. So what I'm doing here, oh, good if there's a blade in there. Cuisinart blade. There. I think that maybe, is that the one off this? There we go. We can wash this very quickly. I'm not sure. Look at what a ferocious mess. This is the one. Let's just wash this. Is there anybody that doesn't own a food processor? If you don't own a food processor, it's almost impossible to do a variety of raw food without a food processor. There are lots of people that are raw foodists, and there are these kind of, I was going to call them freaky, I guess they are. People, I'm sorry, real purists, but I mean, we have friends who will only eat every single thing 100% raw, and I'm not quite that way. I will add other things to it, but it's very, very difficult to do this kind of food without a food processor. It takes all, otherwise all you end up is eating salads and fruit. I have friends who live on salads and fruit. I can't do that. I have to have different kinds of things in my world, and I make so many different raw things that I do different ones all the time. And so I don't get accustomed to doing the same recipe, which makes it tricky when you're demonstrating. Alrighty, we're putting in 2 apples diced up. I think I did 1. Let's add a couple, because right now I'm simply making the sauce that's going to go over this. Okay, apples, the dates. Oh, I already did that. Wait a minute, where am I? No, I need a cup of dates. Another cup of dates. Okay. We're going to sweeten this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That should be about a cup. And the dates we have were wonderful. Our markets here have pretty much most of what we need. Not 100% of everything, but an awful lot. So I'm taking the seeds out and the stems off and just putting them in the Cuisinart, these dates. I absolutely could not live without a food processor, because I really don't think you can do raw food without one.
Your food is very exceptional because the sauces bind everything in very good taste. Sauces that you could not do.
Oh, they're all just the fresh, natural, raw ingredients. And all the enzymes are alive, and they keep us young. They regenerate us. It's just amazing. Okay, so now, where's that bowl of water? We have got, what I've got in here is dates, cinnamon. Where did I put that cinnamon? Cinnamon. I'm going to put, it calls for 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Did I bring anything like a measuring spoon? Yes. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is my fresh squeezed lemon juice. Didn't quite get the whole one. Okay. I'm making a sauce with this. So I want to see how this is done. Alrighty, now I'm going to take these out because I'm going to use this bowl.
I have a question.
Yes,
When you say sauce, like I'm looking at that and it still looks really chunky to
it
me.
is. And,
It's like when I hear sauce, I think more puree and.
and that was probably a bad choice of words because it is, what is this is going to mix with is just the chopped up apples. I'm going to take this and I'm going to mix it, then I'm going to put the rest of the apples back in here and dice them just a little and put this in. And then take all these and toss them in with this. My goodness, have you ever seen anyone make so much mess? Well, you see, no, I do this on videos, and when I do it on videos, I do one thing at a time, and I only have one, and when I say at a time, I mean like a week. So now what I'm going to do is just kind of pulse these apples a little bit. And I'm one of those people that gets insanely bored with food, so I'm constantly making new and different things all the time. And then I go back to make something I made before and go, oh, forgot how to do that. Because I don't do the same thing all the time. And you can ask my lovely husband what it's like to try to live on mostly raw food, which is what we do at our house.
I'm getting a personal update right here.
Darling, hi, honey. Hi, darling. Oh, that's my very, very favorite Telluride person on earth. All right, New York, LA, all places. This food is so incredibly good for you, and our bodies use enzymes to do everything we do, to have a thought, to move a finger, to do everything. And enzymes are killed. They're completely dead and of no use to our bodies at 115 or 116 degrees Fahrenheit. The only way we get them is in raw food. And this is relevant particularly as we get older. Young people's bodies are filled with enzymes. Enzymes do everything in our bodies, from digestion to having a thought to moving a finger to do anything. And young people have lots of energy, and we wane as we get older because we don't have the enzymes, because we don't take them in at all. Most people in our culture eat almost nothing in its raw form. And so when you find that you can eat almost exclusively raw, and it's wonderful, and you have so much energy and you feel fabulous, hey, why not? Alrighty, where's the hat to this? Here we go. Now what I'm going to do is I just want to pulse these apples. I don't want to make it into a puree. I just want to pulse them. Done. Now I mix them with the two apples that I had pureed. If you saw what I did, I made the puree of apples, and the puree was apples, dates, cinnamon, lemon juice, and now mixing this together with it, and we're going to make our pie. Now I'm mixing if you can see what I did, I had made the puree before of the dates and the spices, and so I'm just mixing it with the pulsed apples. I have to tell you, this apple raspberry pie, as you see, the crust was made with nothing but walnuts and dates, and then we did a layer of raspberries, and now we're doing a layer of, and I'm giving out all the recipes, by the way, if anybody wants to try these. Mixing it all together and mounting it in the pie crust, and it makes the most wonderful pie. Just want to get it all nicely mixed together so it holds. And then we mount it in our pie. And I wish I had a bigger pie plate, but I don't. Raw food is a very hands-on thing. If you go online, if you Google raw food, people have I mean, they're just on YouTube. There are hundreds and hundreds of raw food demos, people demoing it, and it's all very, very much hands-on, hands in the food. Now, there's our raw pie, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of, get this out of the way, of the leftover crumble that we made the crust from, and just sprinkle the crumble over the top and mash it in, and we have a raw apple raspberry pie. It's pretty good. I got to tell you, you're about to find out. Now, serving it in this many pieces, I'm not going to be able to do nice pieces. We're going to have to serve it to you probably in clumps. But there's an apple raspberry pie. Now, let's just serve it up to you guys. And then we will move along.